Hi, my name is Dee, and for many years I've been helping readers find great books to read in my work as a public librarian. Today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite series, and we're going to start with Binky. How many of you have cats at home? I do too. Well, this is Binky the cat, and he's the cat you wished you had. At first you may think he's just like all cats. He sleeps, he eats, he plays with his toys. But in the first few books about Binky, we learn that in his world, or at least his own mind, he has a mission to save his humans and their space station, which is really their house, from the evil invading aliens. You know, those bugs that fly around and get in your face. FIRST, which stands for Felines of the Universe, ready for space travel. Lieutenant Binky always has his trusted co-pilot, his stuffed mouse Ted, with him on all his missions, even when he falls outside the space station porthole, you know, the bathroom window, and then finds himself lost in outer space, you know, the backyard. In Binky Under Pressure, the third book in the Binky series by Ashley Spires, Binky spends his time sleeping, fighting the miscellaneous alien, and then sleeping some more. His life has become routine until Binky's space station is invaded not only by aliens, but by another cat. Her name is Gracie, and she's cute, and she's fluffy, and Binky thinks there's something not quite legit about her. She's just too perfect. Could she be a robot sent by the aliens to infiltrate Binky's space station? Or is she something else? The answer will surprise you. Binky's story is told in graphic novel format, and I'm going to admit I'm not always the biggest fan of graphic novels, but I love this series. The writing is funny, the illustrations are hysterical, it's just a great series. So even if you don't think you'll like graphic novels, give Binky a shot. And if it turns out you do like it, there are 5 Binky adventures in all, just waiting for you to explore. Now that we've talked about cats, let's talk about dogs. This is Howie Monroe, and he stars in the series Tales from the House of Bunnicula by James Howell. Howie's Uncle Howard, who he's named after, was a famous writer. You may have heard of his Bunnicula series where he tells about the vampire rabbit his family adopted. Well, now Howie is a writer too. In fact, he's written 2 previous books, but now he's suffering from writer's block with his 3rd book and doesn't know what to write about. So Uncle Howard suggests using the question, what if? And the what if question that Howie comes up with is, what if his life were like the life of the boy in that book one of the Monroe boys has been reading? Howie writes, that kid has a pretty interesting life. His father and mother have died, and he lives with these really mean relatives, and then he discovers he's got special powers, and when he goes off to a school to learn how to use them, he finds out he's famous. So in the story Howie comes up with, Howie himself gets a letter from the mysterious Dogwitz Academy of Canine Conjurers, and so does his best friend Delilah, but for some reason she now talks with a British accent. By the end of the story, Howie has to fight the evil force whose name cannot be spoke. But wait, didn't this story sound kind of familiar? The last story we're going to talk about is about magicians. They are front and center in this book as well. Most kids would do anything to pass the iron trial because it means they get to go train to be master magicians. But not Caleb. His father has drilled into him since birth that magicians are evil and must be avoided at all costs. And since Caleb's mother died when he was just a baby and all he's ever had is his dad, he does what his dad told him to do. But the problem is Caleb messes up so badly during the iron trials that the masters in charge of it think he's doing it on purpose. They think he's something special. But they're the only ones, because everyone else in town thinks Caleb's just a freak. He can't seem to control the words that come out of his mouth, and sarcastic remarks just seem to pop out everywhere. And it really wasn't Caleb's fault that the last town parade was ruined. How was he supposed to know that the white mice he was trying to rescue from the pet store's boa constrictor would run all out into Main Street and ruin the parade? By the end of this book, though, you'll find out just how special Caleb really is, because the worst person in their world is called the enemy of death, and Caleb has some kind of connection to him. You see, when Caleb's mother died, it was during a great battle with the enemy of death's army, and when Caleb's father found him cradled in his arms, he noticed something strange scratched in the ground around her dying words, kill the child. To find out what that means and what connection Caleb has to the enemy of death, Read The Iron Trial, the first in a new series by Holly Black, who you may remember from writing the Spiderwick Chronicles, and Cassandra Clare, who wrote the City of Bones series.